Hey, welcome to a special episode of a TutorRev podcast turned webinar style. I'm Sam. I'm your community and product manager here at TutorRev. Super pumped to have you with us. Whether you're a tutor, homeschooler, parent, anybody in between, this is for you. If you're ready to dive into how we can make teaching and learning even more impactful for kids, I'm excited to share with you TutorRev and our mission. First, I'll introduce you to my co-hosts. It's Kate
Hi.
and John.
Hi.
Kate, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I've been a classroom teacher for the last 15 years as an intervention specialist. I've worked in many different settings over that time, from residential school to co-teaching classrooms, self-contained classrooms, inclusion. So a lot of different settings and experiences. And in some of those classrooms, you teach all subjects. Most recently, I've been teaching reading and English, and I got connected to TutorRev when I started using it this school year to start doing some tutoring outside of teaching to supplement my income, and it was an interest that I had, and started using TutorRev this school year to supplement my teaching income. And it was an area that I knew I could make some impact with in my community, and it just made it really simple for me, made it really easy for me. I know we're going to dig into the features later, but I'll just say everything with what I started with my tutoring business has just ballooned and expanded so much that I am actually not returning to classroom teaching next year. And that is something that I've been working towards for the last 2 or 3 years. And TutorRev was the last piece of that puzzle that really helped me to be able to do that.
I love that. That's awesome. John, how about you?
Congratulations, Kate.
Thank you.
My name is John Praviti. I'm Director of Support and Implementation here at Langometrics, / author of children's books / owner of an alpaca and llama farm. A lot of our stories come from my animals, and if you've dove into Fluency Rev yet, you'll get to see the Grayson and the Guardian series, our Read More Castle series, which we'll talk about later, and many of our other standalone books for Fluency Rev, Phonics Rev, and our amazing Decodable series.
Yes, I'm a fan of the decodables, not just because you wrote them and I edited them, but the pictures in them are amazing. And it really does follow that scope and sequence that you need. Nobody tells you how hard it is to write those and have them stick to that scope and sequence until you have to do it. And we really did
Yes.
follow that to the T. And it was painstaking, but well worth it.
Yes, there are several iterations over and over and over, but our illustrations, I think you'll find in all of our new books, the Fluency Rev series and the Decodables are second to none out there. We have a brilliant illustrator that's worked with us for the last couple years, and hopefully will continue to work with us as we go forward and add new books.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a fan. So I'm Sam. Again, community and product manager. I was a classroom teacher, special ed coordinator. I left the classroom in 2021 and kind of went on my own, fell into a couple awesome opportunities. I've taught online since then, and I've been working with Langometrics full time since 2021. And I've, I'm super excited about TutorRev just because it was born out of an idea. I was already using a product that was part of our portfolio, and that's exactly what TutorRev was. And I was using it with kids in tutoring and definitely saw growth and impact and can't wait to share that with everybody. So here at TutorRev, we do believe every child can become a confident reader and speaker. We know learning doesn't just happen in classrooms. That's one of the most important things. And all educators deserve access to great tools and supportive communities. And that's the biggest thing that we're trying to create now is that community, that place where we can share ideas, strategies, um, you know, different techniques that work, and so that parents and tutors can help each other. There's no reason that we have to do any of this stuff alone. Kate, what are you most excited about the community aspect?
So I love the TutorRev community. I would think my biggest first love for it is that it's free. Because I know as an educator, we take a lot of time and we invest time and money into products. And sometimes you do that and you get into a product and you're going, oh, this is not what I thought it was, or this is not going to work for the population of students that I'm looking at. So the great thing about the community, it's free. Parents can get in there, tutors can get in there, teachers can get in there and see what it is, try things out, test things out, and really get an idea for it. And I think the second aspect of it that's really important is just the collaboration and the communication that the community is meant for, because parents are going to have insights that maybe I don't have. I'm going to have insights and background that they don't have, and it's where we can
Mhm.
all come together and share in there.
I agree. That's a big part too, and it's finding that what they call it the village, the community of, and even I mean, you and I've seen it. Hey, I use this, this works,
Yeah.
or I've used this and that works, and this is how I've used the platform to kind of amplify my success with a certain skill or anything, and that's fun. I think I'm excited for John to get more feedback on books that people might want. John, is that about where you're at too?
Absolutely. We actually have several in the works, both the Grayson and Guardian series, Read More Castle series, and our Mystery Club series, which is another little series out there, as well as some other books for older children, some books we're working on. Another piece I'm really excited about is our new Grayson and the Guardians paperback series, which can be purchased on Amazon. What's great about it is if you go to the back and click the UPCs, it'll take you right into the system where you can read the same three books that are here in paperback. You can read them online, and your child can get feedback immediately. Quick story: we get visitors to the farm, and the last time we had one, the first little boy came up. He was 6 years old, and his grandparents were with him, and they said. And I said, I introduced him to our alpaca named Grayson, and she goes, his name is Grayson also. So needless to say, he went home with one of these books, and the smile on his face, standing
Nice.
next to Grayson, get his picture taken, was just amazing. And his grandmother said that he loves to go on his iPad and read books. So I'm hoping to reach out and get feedback from the grandma soon, because he has gone on and started reading them as well as reading them in the book. But for tutors, if you buy these would be a great gift to a child that really goes through, meets their goals, gets their gold coins and everything, and then they have something to share with their younger siblings, or
Nice.
as
With the
well
school.
reading
Yeah,
it.
something tangible they can take and go, hey, look what I did.
Exactly. So yes, I would love to hear in the community what other books they'd like, what other themes. We have a lot in mind, but the feedback would be tremendous.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thanks, John. Kate, what do you think TutorRev, or what's the biggest thing that TutorRev adds to tutoring that you wouldn't have before? So if you were just doing face to face all the time.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I would say for me, the biggest reason why I really never started anything, with tutoring is the time commitment. There are so many time grabs, just like with classroom teaching, how you have to plan your lessons. Tutoring is the same way. And in some ways, it's so much more because you're individualizing everything for the individual students that you're working with and tutoring. And when I started digging into TutorRev, and when I saw how it was going to address those time grabbing things, the planning, we mentioned the decodables earlier and how they're all aligned to the different skills. So my resources were already right there for me. Students read, they get that extra practice when I'm not even with them. Then in the background, the system is giving me data, it's giving me information. So then I'm like, okay, what do we need to work on next? So my planning. So I've got my resources, my planning. And then if I need materials, they're all right there. And everything is organized. And
So
I really liked too that in the library, it gives the students the choice of what they want to read. And I think that's really important for keeping the practice fun, keeping sessions engaging, keeping their practice outside of our one-on-one sessions fun for them, because some want to read about llamas, some want to read about sports, some want to read about families, some want to read about games and kids situations. So there's something in there for everybody. Some of the kids really going to dig into the series and be interested in reading, oh, I want to read all the books in the series, and that's another motivating factor. So I think the challenges that it addressed for me were all those things. Just it was when I saw how time saving it was going to be, I thought, can do my full-time teaching job and integrate this, and it's going to save me so much time that it's going to help me really to add value, because I knew that I could add enough value for parents to, be helpful enough to their child to want to pursue it, but also worth my while as a tutor to take that time to do it. So I just think the time saving aspect of it, honestly, without seeing TutorRev, I wouldn't have started a tutoring business.
Yeah, it's definitely intimidating at first too when you don't have a tool that you can rely on.
Absolutely. How does this differ from other?
And Kate, how does this differ from other tools that you've used previously? Online tools for reading.
Sure. I mean, over 15 years of teaching, I've used a lot of different tools, a lot of different products. TutorRev brings a really good engagement piece to everything. Your struggling readers are naturally going to be disengaged readers because it's difficult. And when things are difficult, we have a tendency to shrink back, to pull away from those things. So TutorRev is scaffolded. We have the listening tool in there so the student can hear the modeled words. So they're like, okay, I'm hearing the words. Then they read it, they record themselves, and they're getting feedback. And some of those words are going to be green. They're going to be correct. And that's like that instant win. And so that's what I mean when I say it gives them that engagement piece, because they're like, oh, I'm successful. I'm doing good. And some things are yellow, it's a near miss or a little bit pronunciation. And then they're going to have some red things. Okay, this is what I have to work on, or a strike through if it's a word that they omitted or skipped. But having the green in there, having the feedback, having those small wins, earning stars on every page, and then as they complete books, earning coins. So that's a big difference to me, because a lot of programs that you see out there, they don't really have those big wins. It's if you don't hit mastery, you're nothing and you got nothing. And that is so disheartening for struggling readers. So there's wins to be had on every page. And because they have the scaffolding, meaning because they can listen to it and hear it, they're going to get there. They're going to have some, correct words, and just going onward and upward from there. So that really helps them to engage and to start that process of, okay, understanding that they can do this. And I think that's a really big difference.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it really does add that engagement and gamification. I want to say with like air quotes of gamification because it is like gamification, but it's just enough.
Yeah.
There's just enough gamification there to keep kids excited because you get stars and coins and you're able to kind of like the snowball effect. You keep building. You're going to build on how many coins you get by how many books you finish. You're going to get more coins based on how well you're reading. And that's how you get stars. So, like, it all
Yeah.
kind of goes together.
Well, and to add to that, it's so balanced, because that's the other piece of it. You either have programs that are, kind of defeating for the kids because it's so academically focused. Again, if you don't hit that mastery, you're nothing. But then you've got products that are like, we're an educational product, we're an educational tool. But by the time you buy it and get into it, you go, wait a minute, this is just games. This is too far
Yeah.
on the other side of gamification, where it's, okay, yeah, we're going to do 1 minute of legitimate practice, and then you've unlocked the games for 20 minutes. And for classroom teaching, for tutoring, or for a parent even, how frustrating that you're trying to spend your resources on something that's supposed to help your kids, and it's truly nothing more than a game. So I appreciate the balanced aspect, and like you said, light gamification, in that we're earning things, we're working towards things, but it's all comes back to the real world. It's up to us. How do we want to reward for those coins? Are we going out for ice cream at 100 coins? Are we, in my tutoring, prize box, stickers, pens, the little toys? Are we getting in the prize box at 100 coins? So what they're doing on the screen, it becomes real for them, because there's actually a tangible physical reward that you can incorporate so easily with this.
Absolutely. We know kids do things for many different reasons, but rewards are, pretty cool. I mean, even as adults, we like to be rewarded when we do
Yes.
well
Yes.
in whatever shape or form. So this is just a fun poll, and this will be live in the webinar when we go. It'll be live in the webinar when it's posted. But as a tutor or parent, would you rather have more time, resources, or students? So think about that. You guys can put that in the chat. Kate, how about you?
That's such a tough one. Time, resources, or students?
Yeah.
I think I would go with quality resources overall. My thought is, if you're tutoring and you're doing something of quality, students are going to come, because you're going to have word of mouth. It's going to be effective. It's going to be working. So parents are going to share what you're doing. So I think quality resources, because that's going to help you as a tutor to have an effective program going.
I agree. It's kind of a trick question though, because, and I'm sure that's why you were like, ugh, because
How
TutorRev
can I
gives you
pick
all
just
three.
one?
Like, we give you saving time because because I didn't say you had to pick one, but you get to save you time by allowing you to just work on teaching while TutorRev will handle the practice, the knee to knee, and takes away that awkward, I hope I don't mess up in front of my teacher reading. And then obviously more resources with our community, courses, over 700 AI powered books, all those glorious things. And we know when kids are having fun, sessions don't feel like work. When kids want to, they feel like play, and happy parents, excited learners, word of mouth, just like you said, that's how you're going to grow your business. Honestly, when implementing the TutorRev in sessions, you can reduce session time. I mean, 15 to 20 minutes less. So, I mean, I recommend 20 to 35 minutes max, just because of the attention span of kids and the attention span of us. Like, you don't want to put on a show and do all these things and they're not going to understand, or they're not going to be able to take it home. So that's what I like. Have you gotten parent feedback yet from using TutorRev?
Yeah, yeah. They're very happy with it. It's because it's easy to use. Once the kiddo has a login, they just get
Hmm.
on there and they can just get in there and they click one click and they're in the library and they just pick and read what they want. I've also used it to assign certain scope and sequence things that, say out of the decodable. So in a session, if we're working on, long A, long O, we're working on vowel sounds, then I just go right in, find those books that are already all organized for me, and I can assign them to my student to work on outside of our session, and they get that practice. And Sam, something else you mentioned, that taking that pressure off, because they're not reading live
Hmm.
to a teacher, they're not reading live to a parent, they're not reading live to a tutor, but yet it's still very productive because they're getting feedback. So it's just a very low pressure situation where they can read, see how they're doing personally. They can see it
Hmm.
on the screen. They know exactly how they're doing and they can make those corrections just like that. And that making those corrections, that is so powerful. But I love that you brought that up because that's so important. They don't feel that pressure or that stress of having to read it out loud because truly they're just
Absolutely.
practicing.
I mean, I
And
think
that's how practice should be.
that's
It's
part of
just
it.
practice. It's not a performance, it's a practice.
Yeah, and when I was talking to John yesterday and we were talking about the Grayson books, I told him that I think the Grayson books are good for tutors because you can send the kid home, and they practice on the program, the platform, and then if they come to you, you can do the cold read with the book. You can have that there just to see, are we barking at print or are we reading? Are we just trying to memorize each page, or are we really actually learning, and putting our skills to work? I think that's important. It's just an extra tool for the toolbox, honestly. And all those books have comprehension questions too, so it's just another layer of, resources and ways to help bring home the concepts.
And Sam, speaking of that, I would like to reach out to the community because the three books that are in here are the beginning, What's with the Water, and Helping Baby Turkey. There are 12 other books we have online currently of Grayson, and I would love to hear what people would like for volume two. We have all of the stories I think are awesome, but I would love to hear your favorite three that you'd like added in print form so that when we do come out with volume two, we can have what the community prefers. Hopefully we can
Absolutely.
get them all in different volumes, but our next step would be volume two, and I would love to hear feedback on the books we have out there.
I'll have to put a poll out there because I think there's so many good books, and being able to, just to get more stuff into the hands of kids and tutors. And I mean, we're not saying that, we want the kid to cold read from the beginning, but, hey, go home, practice a few times.
Yeah.
Get 1 star, get 5 stars. Let's see the growth there, and let's do that cold read, because then we're really gonna see that growth and advantage. And one of the things that I love, you'll probably laugh at this too, is how many times have you sent home timed reading passages that weren't getting read?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yes.
mean,
As a classroom teacher, many times. Yes.
but that's what you have to do. That's what we're told to do. It's nice to have this though, because we're going to hear if they actually read. We're going to hear whether they, use the model audio, because kids like to do that. Sometimes we're going to know if it was actually them reading, and if they put that, actually took that practice time as a parent too, like
Yeah.
multiple kids. I trust that my kid reads when they tell me they read to a point, but it's nice now too to have this tool that I can go back and listen to. And as a parent, educator, all the things, and even to show growth. Like I know I had a kid last year that it was so cool to like the word neighbor was so intimidating at the beginning of the year. But by May, when she read a book with it in it, had to let mom hear it because it was just so exciting. And they don't see those things. They're not in the classroom or working with them. So they don't get to see those tiny moments where you're like amazed.
Right. Well, okay, little fun story on how in-depth the recording in TutorRev is. So great tutoring student and great parent to work with. So I'm getting on, pulling some data. Okay, what did she read? Let's see if there's errors. And by the way, all you don't have to do that by listening. There's reports in there that you can pull and it will tell you. But you also have the audio in there to go and listen. So I listen and I go, Mom's voice. Beautiful. Mom's doing a great job. I listen to the next one. Oh, Mom. Okay, Mom is reading well. And so I knew, I'm like, something is going on. And so, it's communicated to the parent. And she was just having trouble of technical difficulty, like getting the sound in there. So, but the mom was so funny because she said, I knew you would hear that. And she said, I just left it in there so you could, I knew you were going to have a laugh about it. But her daughter was so motivated because her daughter's saying, Mommy, I'm reading it to you. But she's very young and she has a very small, just a soft little voice. And she's missing
Yeah.
both of her front teeth. So all of your T's, your L's, like so many letters are complex right now. But so what she said, Mom, I will read it to you and will you read it into the system for me so I get my coins?
Hey, why not?
I
Think
loved
smarter,
it.
not harder, right?
I know. And I said, it was
That's
so funny, but
awesome.
it just showed her motivation, which I love. She still wanted, and the mom was like, well, I didn't want you to think she wasn't doing it. But on my end of things, I'm like, look at that. I mean, you can literally, I wasn't with them, I'm not with them, so outside of your session time, you can hear your kiddos, you can see exactly what's going on. I've even noticed too, like, you mentioned about the word neighbor or particular words. I had a kiddo getting frustrated. They were not pronouncing things correctly. They were probably needing to use the model and to rely on the scaffolding a little bit more, but I could hear the frustration level in their voice. And that was really profound because that was something that when we were back together in session, I was able to address that with that student and say, you know, this isn't meant to frustrate you, it's meant to help you, and reminded them of using the read aloud tool, or even grabbing a parent and say, hey, I keep getting so many red and yellow on this page. Can you read this to me? Can you help me with it? Listen to the model, hear it read. So having that
Yeah.
recording in there, it's so amazing.
And the problem solving part of it. I mean, that's a skill we have to teach the kids. I know.
Yes.
So I've had incidents even with our school product where the kids are like, I'm only getting 3 stars or I'm only getting 2 stars. Make sure you listen to your playback because your mouth could be too close to your microphone or you're picking up the room noise. There's so many things that impact that just by listening to the playback, you can kind of pick up on it was kind of loud in here, or maybe I didn't say all the words, or I'm very famous. I'm one of those like speedy people, and so sometimes I'll hit the play button and I'll
Yes.
or stop it before my recording before I even start talking, or I've already started talking and I record it. And so you lose so much there. And since it's phoneme based, if I'm missing 2/3 of the sentence, that's like,
Yeah.
over 50% of the phonemes, I'm not going to do well on that page. And my kids don't let me press the record button for them. They tend to push it for themselves because I get too excited. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But we have to know. And that's, again, trial and error, learning, problem solving as we go.
I think it's great that the system not only motivates the student, but motivates the parent to help more. I mean,
Yes.
that is perfect. Sometimes parents need to be reminded that their child needs help, and this gives them the platform to do it.
Agreed. And it's nice to be able to show, when our kids go to school, we know what we know what we think goes on and what they should be doing. But honestly, you learn a lot about watching your kids read at home,
True.
about how they probably are in a classroom. I mean, even my child, for example, he is all over the place, but when he reads, he's actually like he can sit still, he does fidget some, but he wants to do it like upside down and all the things. And I'm like, buddy, your recording's not going to be good if you're upside down. Like, it's just not going to work that way. Like, I believe in flexible seating, but there's a part where you're going to have to actually set up and read so that it picks it up correctly. And that's not a bad thing. It's, you got to know where you're at.
Yeah.
I'm
But
sure
it
you
is
know all about
definitely,
that one too. Like,
yeah. Yeah. Three
yes.
boys. Yeah, I know. But it's definitely, a
Yeah.
platform that you can sit with your child, and as a parent at home you can sit and you can let them read, but do the recordings with them, engage with them, so you can see for yourself how they're doing. And it's one piece of the puzzle. Just like don't get rid of all your physical books, sit down and read
Yes.
physical books with them as well, but then this is something that they can have that independence, try it, work on it, and something where kids and parents can engage together with the technology piece of it.
Agreed. And I think it does take some of the pressure away from parents as far as like, we know that, there are people who have trouble reading that are adults. And the good thing about TutorRev is it takes away that pressure from the parent because the student's going to get the modeled audio. They're going to get that instant feedback. And a parent can just be a support system. I know that that's a hard thing, especially in different areas of if the parents aren't comfortable reading, then the child's not going to, probably get that at home. And that's where we're able to help break down that barrier and kind of make it fun for everybody.
Sure. Yeah.
And we don't yell at parents that record too. We have had that happen with our school product, English Rev, in some of the southern Alabama, and I think it's mainly Alabama that we've had so far. But with our ESL kids, the parents, wanting to get feedback on their speaking too. So, come on in. We actually have given away, parent licenses so that they could practice too, because language is so important, and our boss Ken is very adamant about being able to give that and give back. So what's coming up in TutorRev? I know we've kind of talked about our technology, our community. We're gonna try to hook up some guest webinars, some guest speaker webinars. So we do have access to different authors, influencers, professors of literacy, different people who can help give us guidance as we navigate this fun world. We're going to have some more community spotlights. Kate was one of our first ones. We're so excited to have Kate. We're going to have some build a book opportunities. So I'll tell you more about that later. And Kate, I'm sure you're going to like this one, but we're going to give people opportunities to languify their own content and be able to, and languify is just the term that we use for where we have that modeled audio that reads to kids to show them how to say words correctly. And so we've had requests before. We do this some in our school product, but it's going to be a great thing to add into our TutorRev arsenal. A la carte options. So we do have different memberships that you can have, anywhere from free to coaching sessions included. We're also going to have some a la carte coaching sessions. So if you're just getting started and you're like, I just want to know what to do. If you're a parent, tutor, homeschooler, we could hook up a session, collaborate. Then we're also going to have tutor consults, wink, wink to Kate, so that, if you're a homeschooler, parent, and you want a consult, we have tutors in our community and in our arsenal in general that can help consult with your kids and, do a virtual session. So we really want to build more of this together. And so how do you get started? If you're not already in the community, super easy. We're going to put a link in the webinar information. No purchase required. You seriously enter your name and your email and you're ready to go. You'll get, as soon as you enter that, you'll get a couple emails from me and you will be right into the community. You'll have platform access and you can start reading and testing our books yourself, having your kid test it. That's going to be mind-blowing, I think. And it's just nice. We don't pepper you with a bunch of salesy things. That's just not who we are. We really just want to keep educating on literacy, reading, and, helping kids get to the next level. Anybody have anything else to say? So when we do post this, we'll be around for questions. So please pop in, say hi. If you've been engaging in the chat with us, that's great. But we really appreciate you taking time to, hear about TutorRev. It's obviously a passion of mine and my team's, and we can't wait to see you in the community.